What's up everybody, this is Shelly. In today's video, we are going to be going in detail talking about how to do a forward inside open and a forward inside closed mohawk. This is a part of a 4-part series. This is part 1. You're not gonna wanna miss this. In this video, we go over the forward inside open mohawk, which is one of our most popular mohawks that we see today in skating, and actually one of the first mohawks that we learn in the sport of skating. And then we're also going to be going over the forward inside closed mohawk as well, which we don't typically see too much of, but we will be going over it because the more knowledge you guys know, the better equipped skaters you will be. So let's go ahead, let's jump right in and let's go over these mohawks right now. All right, you guys, let's talk about the forward inside open mohawk first. In this mohawk in particular, this is the most common first mohawk that everybody does when they're first starting skating. This is the first mohawk that we all talk about. This is the one that we all teach. This mohawk is actually in our half flip when we learn the half flip. If you do it from a mohawk entry, at least here in the United States, that's how we do it. We always do the half flip with mohawk entry. You could even do single or double flip with this particular mohawk as well. So to get started, we're going to talk about a mohawk. What exactly is a mohawk? Well, a mohawk is a figure skating turn where we stay on one circle and we change feet from either forward to backward or backward to forward. There's no turning on those feet when we are doing that change. So it's literally stepping from one foot to the next, from forward to backward, as you can see here. So the change foot happens on top of that lobe. You start in a forward inside edge in this particular mohawk, and then you end on a back inside edge. Now, the difference between the closed and the open mohawk is basically where you place your foot in order to do your step. So in this first one, we are placing our foot to the inside of our skating leg. So to get started, right here, I am actually on a half circle, and typically when we teach these mohawks, we will draw out a half circle or do these mohawks on a circle on the ice, so that way you're utilizing your edges while doing the mohawk. If you're not using your edges, it makes it a lot more difficult to be able to complete the mohawk itself. So we're gonna start our feet in a T position, make sure that outside foot is in front, inside foot is the back T part of that T position. So we're gonna have our outside arm placed in front. So here it's our left arm. Our right arm is going to be in an L shape facing inside the circle, or it's gonna be pulled a little bit back. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bend our knees and we're gonna push off that back T foot. We're then gonna take that free leg, bring it into the inside of our skating leg, and we're gonna actually turn our knee and toe back towards the direction where we started. Then we are going to flip our hips and step on that back inside edge to follow the circle around. Arms always face inside the circle. When you're doing this mohawk, always utilize your knee bend. That is very important. Don't look outside of the circle while doing this mohawk. You should always be facing in the circle when you're doing this forward inside open mohawk. So this mohawk is great to be used for just transitioning forward to backwards. This is the most common mohawk you will be doing for the rest of your skating life. But that's how you do the forward inside open mohawk. In this open mohawk, it's very important to note that your shoulders and your hips are always on they're always square. They're always on the same page, so to speak. So when you're doing this mohawk, you don't really have any shoulder checking against the hip or any of that twisting involved. It's all very open. Shoulders and hips are facing inside that circle. It's a pretty simple mohawk. If you're just learning mohawks, it might not seem so simple. Honestly, interesting enough, the number one mistake people make, we talked about it in the last video when we talked about mohawks, is people end up 3-turning the mohawk, which is one of the most common mistakes. But another common mistake is actually, on this one, placement of the foot. A lot of times when we're first teaching these skaters how to do this mohawk, they'll bring that free foot behind the skating foot and do the mohawk. Well, Now we're getting into our second Mohawk that we're going to be talking about, which is the forward inside closed Mohawk. Believe it or not, people's number one mistake on this one is just doing a different Mohawk, making it a closed position versus the open position. So speaking of, let's go ahead, let's do a breakdown of that forward inside closed Mohawk. So here, everything is going to be the same. We're going to start in our T position. Our arms will be facing inside the circle. So shoulders and hips are all facing inside of that circle so we can be in the correct position for that change of feet. I'm gonna bend my knees, same thing here, especially when you're doing a closed Mohawk, you need to keep knee bend. You're gonna bend your knees, push into that forward inside edge. You're going to bring your free leg now to the back. So you're almost gonna think more toe to heel, but you're going to bring that free leg to the back of the skating leg. You're gonna bend your knees, open your knees facing away from each other. That way you're getting more of that balletic fifth position so you can step backward. And the skating foot's gonna swing in front, and you're gonna still have your shoulders open facing inside the circle. So in this Mohawk, we're actually going to be checking our shoulders against our hips. Just keep in mind when you're doing this Mohawk, use your knee bend. I want you to really focus on sinking down into that knee, especially on the entrance edge and the exit edge. During the change and the step on the closed Mohawk, you actually want to sink down a little bit lower so you can get your foot in the right position. One of the best things that you can do while working on these Mohawks is really working on your open knee and hip flexibility. Just go through on the floor at home. You could do this on the ice too before you do Mohawks. Just stand at the boards, open your feet up, go to that ballet, fifth, fourth, first position, second position. Really work on the positions and transferring your body weight from one leg to the other. That way you can really work on that mobility during the actual Mohawk step. We actually don't see this forward inside closed Mohawk too often, but if you are wanting to kind of start working on Choctaws, I would highly suggest to start working on this, just because the position and the step and the check of the shoulders and the hips against each other is really going to help you out with that feeling of the Choctaw. So those were the forward inside closed and open Mohawks. I hope you all found that helpful. Stay tuned for next week for part 2 of this video. We're going to be going over the forward outside open and closed Mohawk, so you do not want to miss that. Until next time, skate great, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.